Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. If we could all please stand up for a moment, and we'll do the Pledge of Allegiance. This flag right there. I pledge of allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right. My name is Bob Leach, and I'm the president of the Wall Township Education Association. We are honored to present and sponsor tonight's Meet the Candidates Night for the 2025 Board of Ed election. Before we begin, I just want to share a little bit about the WTEA. We are an association composed of nearly 550 members that are committed to the education, health, and well-being and the advancement of the students of Wall Township. Our members are composed of our teachers who instruct our students, our paraprofessionals that assist and care for them in so many ways, our bus drivers that transport them safely, our cafeteria workers that keep them fed, our nurses who care for their physical health, our counselors who advocate for their mental health and provide other invaluable services, our custodians who keep the facilities clean and healthy, our operation and maintenance technicians who keep everything up and running, and our secretaries who run our schools. We are a collaborative organization who work with district administration, Board of Ed members, and the general Wall Township community alike on all issues pertaining to the goal of putting our students first. One such area we do this is in the Health and Safety Committee. This is a very collaborative group. I know there's a lot of people at home watching, and we just want to let you know that we are looking for active parent volunteers or members of the community to step in and be a part of that committee with us. So, before we get started, I'd be remiss if I didn't thank our legislative chair, Amy Bramley, and our office manager, Beth Corby, for their efforts in making this night possible. Thank you also to our business office, Mr. Brian Smythe, as well as our technology supervisor, Mr. Chris Allworth, for facilitating the use of the AV equipment for tonight's presentations. And thank you to the League of Women Voters for agreeing to host tonight's event. And so, without further ado, I present to you tonight's moderator from the League of Women Voters, Sharon Steinhorn. Thank you.
Thank you very much. It's so nice to be here. Good evening to all of you who are here in this lovely cafeteria room, and for those of you who are tuning in to this recording. To learn about your candidates for your Board of Education, I am a member of the League of Women Voters of Monmouth County, and following our policy as a moderator, I do not live in this voting district. I'm up the road in Marlborough. The League is nonpartisan, nonprofit. We work to increase understanding of major public policy issues and influence public policy through education and advocacy. And the League never supports or opposes any political candidate or party. But we are directly involved in shaping issues that keep our communities and our country strong. And our stated mission is to empower voters and defend democracy. And so tonight we will be meeting with candidates for the Wall Township Board of Education. There will be 5 candidates on your ballot running for 3 full-term, 3-year seats. And they are all here tonight to meet you, to tell you why they want to serve your community. There will also be 1 candidate for 1-year unexpired term, and he is unopposed. So let me first introduce your candidates seated at the table in order that their names appear on the ballot. First, James Maliff. Next, Kathleen D. Giovanni, Leah Bibby, Angelique Pinto, and Jonathan Rainho. Your candidates, the candidates at the table have agreed to the following format. There are 3 parts to this evening: opening statements, questions from you, the audience, and then closing statements. Each candidate has a 90-second opening statement, and the order of speaking has been randomly decided with cards earlier this evening. And you, the audience, have the opportunity to submit questions for these candidates. You were offered cards when you entered, and raise your hand if you have your question written on a card, and our student, Michael, will collect it and bring to our screeners. And our screeners, our league members, they are here to make sure that I get to ask a variety of topics and the questions are not of a personal nature or not in the purview of the Board of Education. And most importantly, please make the writing legible. Each candidate will have the opportunity to answer each question, although if they feel it's been previously answered, they may pass. Each reply must be longer than 1 minute, and we have a timekeeper. To show the audience that when the speaker has 30 seconds left to speak, a 30-second for the candidates, right, 30 seconds, and when their time is up, a red card will show them to finish the sentence, and they, of course, can finish a sentence and not just run on. Each candidate will have 90 seconds for a closing statement, and we'll call on them again in random order. And this is being recorded, and it will be posted on the league website by tomorrow morning. That is at lwvmonmouth.org, and it will also be posted on our nonpartisan voting guide, which is vote41.org. And so let's get started with opening remarks. And first, we have Jonathan Rainho. Mr. Rainho.
Yep, all right. Hi, everyone. Good evening. Thank you to the WTA and the League of Women's Voters of Monmouth County for hosting this event, and everyone that is here attending in person or online streaming. I'm John Rainho, and I'm running for the Board of Education alongside my running mates, Angie Pinto and Leah Bibby, because we believe Wall Township Public Schools deserve a better leadership grounded in honesty, transparency, and collaboration. I'm a father of 3 boys who attend Old Mill Elementary and who also receive special services. I spent hours with teachers, therapists, and staff members to come to an understanding of how pivotal this moment is for our district. With the recent curriculum changes and schedule changes that we've seen this year is not in the best interest of our kids. I want to ensure jobs for our educators are preserved, our dedicated educators are rewarded, and every student is given the care and support that they deserve. I appreciate the opportunity to speak with you tonight, hear your questions, and hopefully share how we will help drive meaningful change in our schools. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Rainho. Next is Leah Bibby.
Good evening. My name is Leah Bibby, and I'm truly honored to be here tonight as a candidate for the Wall Township Board of Education. I, alongside my colleagues Angie Pinto and John Rainho, are running because we deeply care about our students, our teachers, and the future of our schools. We believe Wall Township schools deserve leadership grounded in honesty, transparency, and collaboration. As Wall residents and parents, we've seen firsthand the incredible dedication of our educators and the pride our community takes in its schools. I want to help strengthen that partnership between families, teachers, and the board so that every child in Wall has the opportunity to thrive. If elected, my priorities will be clear: building trust and transparency, because open communication and honesty are the foundation of a strong district; supporting our teachers and staff who work tirelessly every day to shape and inspire our students; and fostering academic excellence and student well-being, ensuring that our schools remain safe, challenging, and nurturing places to learn and grow. I believe the Board of Education should work collaboratively, listening, learning, and leading with integrity. I'm committed to the decisions that always put our students first and reflect the values of our community. Thank you for being here and for caring about the future of Wall's schools.
Thank you. Next opening statement, Angelique Pinto.
Good evening to all. Good evening to all. I am grateful for this opportunity to be here. I'm Angie Pinto and have been part of this community for about 13 years now. I'm a mom of 3 incredible boys that several in the audience may have taught at some point, or some of you may know from your own children's peer groups. My amazing husband, Dan, has volunteered to coach quite a few kids in this town over the years and has previously held position with PAC 82 Cub Scouts. We are definitely a Wall family through and true and proud of it. Our kids are deeply rooted in this community in a great and healthy way, and there is no denying that our fantastic educators and staff, as well as neighbors, have all played a critical role in their growth and development. I sit before you today because last spring this district made monumental decisions that included the dismissal of more than 24 paraprofessionals and an overhaul of the elementary school schedule and curriculum, despite clear opposition from many district stakeholders, as I learned through conversations with parents, teachers, and community members, and by attending monthly BOE meetings. Further, my observations have led me to a troubling realization: the voices of our community are not heard and disregarded, with questions unanswered, explanations not provided, and community input essentially non-existent. As a result, I have paired up with two fantastic parents, John Rainhoe and Leah Bibby, to run for open seats on the BOE in an effort to bring the public back into our public school system while upholding our shared values of honesty, transparency, and collaboration. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, James Maliff.
Okay, good evening. Yes, I'm James Maliff, and I am the current president of the Wall Township Board of Education. I've been a member since 2022, and then, as I said, I am the current board president. I've been a Wall resident since 1967. I've attended Wall schools. My children have attended Wall schools. In fact, I graduated in 1976, so we're coming up on my 50th reunion this year. I'm a retired educator. I was a teacher, administrator, and coach in the Ocean Township School District. And I volunteered with the Wall Township North Wall Little League, Wall Soccer Club, Wall Rec, and traveling basketball. I think among the most important things that this board has to undertake in the upcoming year will be the hiring of a new superintendent. Our current superintendent, Dr. Tracy Handerhan, will be retiring July 1st, and it is going to be the responsibility of the board to bring in a new superintendent. We also want to continue to promote student achievement and safety, paying attention to things such as the explosion of artificial intelligence and the impact it will have on the educational experience and the well-being of our student. We also want to, we're in the final stages of our referendum project, which we were very grateful to the community for supporting 3 years ago. Most of the infrastructure projects have been completed. Maybe you will see many opportunities to see these classrooms and buildings, but we also have the athletic complex that is coming very shortly. Thank you.
Thank you. And opening statement now from Kathleen DiGiovanni.
Thank you. I have served on the board for the past 3 years and have sat on the F&F committee all 3 of those years. My proudest accomplishment has been the referendum projects that Mr. Maliff was just commenting on. There's been a lot of long nights, but huge rewards. Most of the projects will go unseen by the community as they are boilers, HVAC, roofing, etc. However, what the public can see is outstanding. I look forward to completing these projects and enjoying the community's reaction, especially to the auditorium and the high school athletic stadium. The toughest job on F&F is obviously the budget. We need to ensure the best possible education for our students, complying with all state and federal mandates while not increasing the tax burden, and we have done so every year. As Mr. Maliff also mentioned, and the community is aware, that Dr. Handerhan is retiring this summer, and the board's most important function is now in front of us, and that is choosing a new superintendent. This is a long process that has begun with the hiring of a search firm. Contrary to misinformation on social media, the search firm hired was one of 3 that the board reached out to for proposals, 2 of which complied, and the one that we chose was by far the most outstanding choice. This firm also came in recommended by other schools who have used them that we independently checked with. Dr. Handerhan had no part in this decision. The candidates will be interviewed in January with the new board. Thank you.
Thank you. And now we'll go right to the questions, and you each have 1 minute to respond. And we'll start with Ms. Bibby. What recommendations might you make to address creating a balanced budget in the face of recent decreases in state and federal funding?
Can you repeat the question?
Sure. What recommendations might you make to address creating a balanced budget in the face of recent decreases in state and federal funding?
Well, as I'm not on the board currently, I do not have access to all the information in order to make an accurate response to that. Mr. Rainhoe, do you have anything to
Yeah.
Okay, well,
Oh,
I'll
I was-
call on, yeah. if you're
sorry, I thought you
finished-
said I could hand it off.
No, well, actually, the next one on my list is Ms. DiGiovanni.
Okay,
So,
sorry.
yeah, we'll get to everybody, I
Yep.
promise.
Well, as I mentioned in my opening statement, being on the F&F committee is our primary function is the budget. Thankfully, we did not face any significant decreases in funding from the state this year, unlike some of our other districts in the community, such as on Toms River, thankfully. However, tough choices are made every year, and we have to, like you said, balance the budget based upon the resources that we have and what is in the best interest of our students, and we do this every year. And again, sometimes tough choices have to be made.
Okay. And Mr. Rainho, same question.
Yep, sure. So again, as Leah said, we're not on the board, so we don't have all the information to make an informed opinion on the line items, but I do have 15 years of corporate finance experience where I handled multi-million-dollar budgets, and I also worked in what's called decision support, right? So I have a very detailed experience on how you ask the tough questions, right? Like, such as, every single dollar, is it made inappropriate to reach our academic goals? Is it made in the best interest of our kids? And then how do you identify waste and opportunities to either cut costs or spend them much more effectively? Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Maliff, same question.
The budget process will be starting, I'm sure, very shortly. All the supervisors, building principals are asked to contribute to the process. And what they try to do is to keep their expenses to the absolute necessity. As Ms. DiGiovanni said, we've been very fortunate over the past few years in that we have not realized significant cuts from the state. But that's only things that have happened in the past. We have to be ready for any possible reductions in state aid. If it comes, the budget will have to be addressed further. But certainly, we look at everything. One of the things we certainly do like to do in our budgets is we want to keep all of the student programs that we can. And even with some cuts that we had to make last year, we did not have to cut any of the student programs, which I think was a great benefit.
Thank you. Okay, moving on to the next question. Ms. Pinto, we're going to start with you. What are you looking for?
Oh, I'm sorry. Am I supposed to answer the last question?
New question.
Oh,
Oh, yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yes, yeah, I'm sorry. Go ahead. I'm moving too quickly.
no,
Too many
that's
good questions. Go ahead.
that's
Yes,
okay.
But
Again, as my running mates, we are not current board members, so it is hard to get into that kind of budgeting process and talking about it in detail, not being aware of what really goes into all of it, line item by line item. But as John had said, identify waste, find opportunity to save. Also, more recently, technology has been cut or reduced significantly in the schools, and then I think a good strength and resource are our PTOs and our PTGs. They have introduced a technology after-school program, although it does cost the families some money. We still have that opportunity to give kids what they're seeking and looking for. So I think we need to rely on that resource in times like you're speaking about. Should we be cutting short things,
thank you. Before I ask the next question, I wanted to point out that we are being recorded, live stream, and there will be a recording. So we are asking the audience not to record any of this. That is part of what we contracted with the Education Association, because none of this is going to belong, this recording is going to belong to the League of Women Voters, and it cannot be used in any excerpt of it, and you'll have a recording, so I would really appreciate if you would not record. That is part of our arrangement. That looks like you're recording.
I'm live streaming it, just like you're live streaming it.
Well, you're going to have it tomorrow morning.
I know. People that don't have access to the live stream are watching mine. I have 3 people watching it right now.
I'm asking you not to do it. They can see it tomorrow morning on,
I don't agree.
I don't want to get into an argument with you, but we're asking the audience to please be respectful and use the recording that is being professionally done. There will be a recording, I promise you. And it will belong to the League of Women Voters. Could you please turn it off?
I don't think I have to turn it off. We're in a public building going over questions for people we want to elect.
And they will,
I can record it. This is the first time I'm hearing this. I have no idea what you're talking about.
Well,
I've
I'm-
been to meetings for 15 years live streaming. This is nothing new for me.
when we arranged with the,
Briggs with who?
with the
Okay,
W,
well, I'm not part of the WTA.
well, that's a contract we have with them, ma'am.
It's a public, we're in a public building. It's a nice event. Continue with the questions.
I- We would really like to get on so that people in the audience and who will watch the recording can see it. Thank you. Thank you. Can we move on? Thank you, Mr. Leach. It's happening.
And you might not have it tomorrow, believe me. It's on their video.
It's on our website. Okay, I'm going to move on, and I'm going to assume you're going to turn that off and respect the rules of the road. Let's move on. I'm going with Ms. Pinto. What are you looking for in a new superintendent?
Right, I'm looking for a superintendent that's able to listen, to help bring the community into the discussion and the dialogue going forward in building this district or helping to continue to build this district. I think that it has to be a collaborative superintendent, somebody that, again, is listening to all the stakeholders when we are developing plans, goals, et cetera, moving forward. I think that's probably the biggest component, is letting the community in to help us all build together.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Maliff, same question.
Thank you. I think I would like to see a superintendent who has a broad experience across education. I'd like to see the superintendent who has been a teacher, to have had experience perhaps with curriculum supervision, to be a building administrator, and also central office experience. Not necessarily, I don't necessarily think that our next superintendent has to have superintendent experience, although that's a possibility. That's something that can be looked at. The new superintendent also has to be a very strong communicator, and I think has to have a very a strong backbone, because many of the decisions that the superintendents and boards make certainly are not decisions that are pleasing to everybody, but are made for the best interests of the students and the community as a whole.
Thank you. Mr. Giovanni.
Thank you. I will be looking for a superintendent. I would like to see someone who has some superintendent experience. However, as Mr. Maliff pointed out, that may not necessarily be the case and isn't necessarily a deal breaker. But their experience is obviously the first thing you're going to look at when reviewing a resume. Secondly, I'm going to look at the temperament of this individual candidate. Are they going to be able to balance the very different kinds of personalities that they're going to come across on a day-to-day basis? Angry parents, there's going to be contract negotiations, working with the TEA. So those things are also going to be, they have to, you know, they're the last buck, so to speak, before the board. And again, they have to be able to balance all those different temperaments. And again, be able to make tough decisions that might be unpopular, maybe with the union or maybe with the community. But if it's the right decision, that person should be able to make it. And that's what I'll be looking for.
Thank you. Mr. Reinholm.
Yep, for me, it'll be someone that has, again, a strong communicator, a visionary, really have the ability to develop a clear mission, also actively listen and build a consensus to drive student success, while rebuilding also the trust among families, educators, and the administrators. And I do also believe, too, that the superintendent should have teaching experience across multiple grade levels, right? The elementary, the middle, and the high school, just because you have different factors that play into each of those different areas, and it's good to have that knowledge and experience. Thank you.
Okay. Ms. Bibby?
Yeah, I think that with a new superintendent, what we really need to be looking for is someone with strong communication skills, someone who has a good track record of experience as a teacher, as well as perhaps in administration, maybe as a principal, or also background in HR, perhaps. That type of skill really is going to help someone who comes into this role communicate with all the different people and all the different items that are going around every day that are going to be passing by his or her desk. Thank you.
Thank you. Next question, very specifically, we are aware that there has been changes to the school schedules. Please share your view of this rollout and any changes you might recommend. Starting with Ms. Giovanni.
Thank you. There's been a lot of discussion about the change in the elementary schedule. This was based on a variety of factors, and it was a long and well thought out and well discussed change. First and foremost, it was to increase academic time for reading and math to help get our scores up to where we know our students can be. So changes had to be made to accommodate that. This was in collaboration with the educators at the school, and this wasn't something that went into lightly. And you know, it's only been rolled out for now 2 months. So of course we're going to look at it at the end of the year and see, was this a success, was it not? Do additional changes need to be made? But we need to first see how it works. And our goals in trying to increase our math and reading scores achieved.
Thank you. Ms. Bibby?
I am really only aware of the scheduled changes in the elementary school. I don't believe that there were any curriculum or schedule changes at the high school. I know there were some minor ones at the middle school. But regarding the elementary school, the cutting of every class by 2 minutes does not sound to me like that we are focusing on reading and writing. We have to go back to the drawing board, I feel. We need to go back, we need to isolate what our goals are, and we need to figure out how we can make everything work as long as, and including following the law, especially for phys ed, health and wellness. There's a state mandate on that, to make sure that every box gets checked. It's gonna be difficult, and we're just gonna have to, once we get on the board, we'll have to see how it goes.
Thank you. Next, Mr. Rainho, and may I ask, I have a feeling the mic is not close enough to you.
Oh, no, I'll move up.
If I'm having a hard time hearing you, I assume others are.
No worries, yeah, thank you for letting me know. So for the curriculum changes, especially at the elementary school, I am, I feel it's not in the best interest of our kids. I do understand you want to increase math and ELA scores, but having kids sit in rooms for 2 hours straight, especially for little ones, you're talking about kindergartens, first, second, third grades, it's not beneficial to those kids. What's going to happen to those kids is they're going to get burnt out. They're already getting burnt out. I'm talking to a lot of parents, doing a lot of meet and greets, knocking on doors, and that's the first thing that they tell me is these kids don't even want to do their homework when they get home. They're tired of talking about math and ELA. The other opposed problem is, again, yes, they're taking mind breaks, but you're talking about little ones. They need to change their scenery. They need to get up. They need to move around. And that's the point of of really, why I don't think it's the best interest of our kids. Same thing with the middle school. They went from 5 days of gym to only 3 days or 2 days, depending on what week you're in. And to me, that is just not the best interest. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Pinto, same question.
So the rollout of the curriculum and schedule changes, again, I can't speak to the entire district. I only know that gym was reduced for the middle schoolers. How this rollout went, we weren't ever really told anything. The first time hearing about reading and math scores needing to be increased was right here at this very moment by Ms. DiGiovanni. So that being said, not being told and being surprised by it and being fed this rollout piecemeal, I thought was a terrible way to bring it along. And then I thought also for putting a morning meeting minutes, 15 minutes a day, 75 minutes a week. I was under the impression it was because we needed character, development. We've had a high speed, different things going on in the community the last few years. So I thought that that's what it was about. But if it is really about reading and writing and math, music is a great place, and we've reduced the band and access to those things. People that do music do math better when they read music. Kids learn better when they're exercised and they're physical.
Okay, thank you. And last, Mr. Malik.
Okay. The curriculum rollout has taken place after a tremendous amount of research and discussions among building administrators and also the Curriculum and Instruction Committee. As Mr. DiGiovanni said, it's only been rolled out for a relatively short time. As far as improving of test scores, I'm of a mind that test scores are important, all right, and they're an important indicator, but just the improvement in reading and math in general that cannot always be measured in the test scores. We're having a new, different type of test coming out this year. There's going to be a field test for this in a little while. So who really knows what the benefits of these test scores are? But if this curriculum changes helps to improve general overall abilities for mathematics and reading and writing, then I'm all for it.
Thank you. And the next question will start with Mr. Rainho, but I'll just give a word to the wise. I know I'm asking the questions and you're very polite in answering them, looking at me. I don't vote for any of you. I don't vote here. That's your audience. Mr. Rainho, new question. What is your position on the use of cell phones in the Wall Township schools?
To be honest, I have little ones, so I never really gave this a thought. For cell phones, especially at the high school, I don't see any benefit to it. I mean, I get having your cell phone put in your locker because if there's an emergency, I get you want to contact your parents, but having your cell phone on you during the day, to me, it's just a distraction. But that's just my opinion. Thank you.
Ms. Pinto.
I do have 2 high schoolers and one that's younger in 4th grade. I am not a fan. I have not given my children technology until much later into middle school when I know they're going to be out meeting their friends, et cetera. So I'm really happy with what the district has done more recently, having the kids lock up their cell phones in the beginning of each class. I think it's fantastic. I think in an era of living where, kids are living by these phones and all the social media and the things that happen, a lot of that very negative. I think when you're in school, it's time to be in school. It's time to socialize like humans are meant to socialize in person. I think in the high school, they allow them to have them at lunchtime, and I think that's more than fair.
Okay.
That's how I feel about it.
Thank you. Ms. Libby, same question.
I agree with my colleagues. I am completely opposed. Like, I don't think that cell phones should be allowed in school, meaning in the sense of in a student's hand all throughout the day. I do agree as well for the cell phones to be locked up immediately in their lockers or which any way, shape, or form, and then there should be consequences for students who are caught with their cell phones in their hand when they're not supposed to. During my student teaching about 20 years ago, that was a rule in Denver for the high school, that you were not to have your cell phone. If you were caught with your cell phone in your hand, it was taken. You'd receive it back at the end of the day. There's plenty of technology in the schools available to you that you don't need your cell phone. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. DiGiovanni.
I think we're all going to be in agreement on this one. There's really no, I'm sorry, my son is sitting here. He's an 8th grader in the back, and he's making faces at me. Because he does not agree with me, but all of the parents here, I'm sure, do. And that there's really no place for cell phones in the school. If it's in his locker, he's a middle schooler here in this building, and if I send him a text, he can check it during the day and quickly respond to me. If there's truly an emergency and I need to reach him, I'll call the office, just like we did when I went to school. So I don't feel there's any place for the kids to have their cell phones during the school day. He can certainly see me ask him to take out the garbage when he gets on the school bus.
Mr. Malice.
Yes, thank you. So cell phone use is a big topic nationwide, and it's kind of an evolving policy. The school board has policies that are, I think, school appropriate, age appropriate. There's different policies for the K-5, the primary and the elementary schools, as the intermediate school has a different policy, and the high school is a more relaxed policy. But certainly, all of the schools have consequences for cell phone use that is done improperly. It's in the student code of conduct. There are consequences for that for students who misuse the cell phones. In general, I think less is better, all right? But I don't necessarily agree with the total absence of cell phones, especially in the high schools. But I certainly do agree that with teacher permission for certain projects, that cell phone use is okay, but only with that permission from the teacher.
Thank you. Next question, we'll start with Ms. Pinto. What recommendations do you feel need to be made to ensure that special education students' needs are met?
I cannot speak to that. I honestly cannot. I don't have a child in need of those services at this time. I do have a child with a 504, and in that lens, I think there needs to be a lot of communication between the family and the counselors and the teachers. Those 504s and IEPs need to be definitely reinforced. They need to be worked on together with the family, the child's doctors or treatment teams, and in the district itself. But beyond that, my scope doesn't really go beyond that, unfortunately. So maybe somebody else will be able to have a better answer for that.
Thank you. Mr. Malice.
Okay. All the teachers are aware of students when they have IEPs or 504 programs. And it is the responsibility of the teacher to follow those programs. The child study team meets annually or whenever required with the student to go over those plans, to make any changes, to see if there are any changes necessary. It's also very possible that if students improve, that special education services could be removed from those students, which is kind of a goal to bring students into the regular education classrooms. So certainly, it is the school's responsibility to make sure that the IEPs are being followed. The teachers know it. They all have copies of the IEPs and the 504 plans, and they are all followed. They are all required to be followed by the teachers.
Thank you. Ms. DiGiovanni.
Thanks. This district goes, I think, above and beyond in our special education department. We have one of our vice superintendents is the head of the special education department, Ms. Bond. She does a fantastic job. We have continuing education for all of our special education educators. We have a lot of out-of-district students with special education needs come to this district because we have such a wonderful program, and it's ever expanding. So I think we're on the right track here, and we can only do better.
Thank you. Ms. Libby?
Bibby. It's
Libby,
okay.
Bibby, I'm sorry.
It happens
yes.
all the time.
Leah?
Do you mind repeating the question again? I
Yes,
want to make
I'm
sure.
sorry.
Thank you.
What recommendations do you feel need to be made to ensure that special education students' needs are met?
You know, like Mr. Maloff and Ms. Di Giovanni, there is a really good program here at in this district for special needs and for special ed. I think making sure that everyone is following the rules of a student's IEP or a 504 and sticking with the plan is important. That means that we have eyes on those plans, multiple eyes, making sure that the items on that plan are being done correctly, and also parent involvement is really important. The communication between the parent and the teacher and the administration on development and the implementation of that IEP or the plan in place is making sure that everyone is on their toes. Thanks.
Okay. Mr. Maloff? Mr. Rainholm, sorry. Yeah.
No worries, no worries.
Looking-
All right, this topic is near and dear to my heart. I have 3 boys, all with IEPs, so I understand the process extremely well, and it is a great process. The program in Wall, at least for the elementary schools I could speak to, is excellent. The one recommendation I would have, though, is, again, the IEPs in the program are more about, the educational part of it, like reading and writing and OT. What I believe should be implemented is more on the social aspect, right? There's other districts where they have, especially during gym or recess or even outside of recess, they have programs where the gym teacher will match up, maybe 5 or 6 gen ed kids with one, kid with a learning development or whatever you want to call it. And their whole responsibility is to teach that kid how to play a sport, how to play a game. And really, it's most beneficial not to the LOD student, but to the general ed kid, because now it gives them that leadership skill that they can't get in another type of atmosphere, right? So to me, that's one recommendation I would have for the district.
Thank you. We'll start with Mr. Maloff. Next question. Transparency and communication have been mentioned as an issue. Can you please share 1 or 2 changes in how you would improve communication to parents and to the public?
Well, that is always, it's a very tough issue sometimes for the Board of Education, because there are certain things that cannot be discussed because we have certain codes of conduct that we have to abide by. But we do listen. We are at the board meetings. We have public comment. We have 2 different times for public comment, for people to come and address and to ask the board. All of our minutes for our committee meetings are made public. We try to get out there as much information as we possibly can. I just feel that we do try to communicate as much as we can to the public whenever we have the opportunity.
Okay, thank you. Ms. Di Giovanni, same question.
Thank you. So as far as communication is concerned, as an individual board member, we are not permitted to speak on behalf of the board. Only the president of the board can speak on behalf. So as an individual board member, there are certain constraints with what we are permitted to say. That being said, we listen. I have parents, neighbors that will reach out to me with different issues, and I will guide them in where they can take their concerns, whether it be to the individual teacher, and there's a protocol of how issues can be communicated with the school. And I make sure that each parent or stakeholder is guided in the correct way of getting their complaints heard. And then it will go up the line to ultimately to the superintendent, and then maybe even to the board in an executive session if a parent needs to come in and speak with us, if that's appropriate. The superintendent reaches out with letters, and each of the principals sends out a monthly newsletter as well.
Okay, thank you. Ms. Pinto?
Could you repeat the question, please?
Sure. Transparency and communication have been mentioned as an issue. Can you please share one or two changes in how you would improve communication to parents and the public?
Well, the first one's pretty easy, changing the members that are willing to be transparent and communicate on the board. Aside from that, though, even more recently, I just found out today that they did interview 3 search firms for the superintendent. So that is not anywhere in the minutes. You know, that's not anywhere you could research that. I heard it here, you know, and that's a really important thing. Like, I think the community should have known about that. They should have said, we're starting the search, and these are the firms we interviewed. I think just glossing over a lot of the steps of the things that take place in this district is what's causing the issue of transparency. And we are not confused by what's confidential or, you know, is a matter of ethics. You know, I'd like to see a lot of people here in Wall Township are very highly educated. This is a great community, and we know the difference. And even just saying we cannot speak to this because of this reason, it's a personnel confidentiality, we have open charges, whatever, say it.
Okay, thank you. Ms. Bibby?
I agree with my colleague Angie, Ms. Pinto. You know, at the end of the day, we know that there are things that you cannot discuss. But not everyone in the town or not all the parents, we don't know the proper chain of how to go about things. And we might not have Ms. Giovanni's cell phone number to reach out to know that. So sometimes when you don't know where to go and you email the board directly and you are met with silence, how can you move forward? You know, just say something. You don't have to tell us everything, but you can respond. Thank you.
Thank you. Going to start with Ms. Bibby. Next question. In your view...
Oh, you didn't.
Forgot me.
Oh, you did. I'm sorry.
Yeah, no
I
worries.
missed you.
no problem. Yeah, so this is a hot topic of mine. Again, in my career in corporate finance, we always have to communicate effectively, especially in how this will affect the consumer and what are they thinking, right, as they receive the information. So, for example, like just what you said, the superintendent search, none of that was disclosed. And now it's being disclosed, right? Like, so as a consumer, we're going to be confused on, well, why didn't we talk about this at the meeting, at the public meeting? It is public information. Same thing with the curriculum changes, right? Listen to all the board meetings. First, it was a $200,000 cut. That's why the curriculum changes were made. $200 cut, we had to cut the lunch age. Then it was discussed as efficiencies. Dr. Hanahan came to all the PTA meetings. She says we have to make these schedules a lot more efficient for the elementary schools. This is why we're doing the changes. Now then it was academic goals with no other explanation. Now it's to increase the music and ALA scores. This all should have been discussed in May with clear, here's the talk track, here's the story. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, sorry about that. Well, thank you for keeping me honest here. Start with Ms. Bibby. Next question. In your view, what is the primary role of a board member?
You know, there's not just one primary role. I'm going to speak to, I think, what the top primary roles are. That is to, you know, make sure that our stakeholders are, you know, protected within the state budgets that we receive and federal budgets that we receive, keeping everyone in mind when we make those decisions. And if we have questions or need help, that we ask, that we don't just stay silent, that we reach out and utilize our public for assistance if we feel the need. Thank you.
Okay. Mr. Rainho.
Yes, thank you. Yeah, so for me, the primary goal of the board member based on the candidate training I had, is to make decisions that are in the best interest of our kids and all of the kids, right? Not one segment, it has to be all. But again, as a board member, right, as we go through the different issues, problems, whatever is happening, in my mind, it's always, how does this impact the kids? What is the best decision for our students? What is the best decision for our teachers, our parents, and then last is the administration. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Maliff?
Certainly, the primary goal of the Board of Education is to see that the schools are run properly. Not to run the schools, which is not our responsibility, but to see that the schools are run properly. And we can do this through many things. We can do it through our committees, through policy development that we do in our committees, planning over the course of the years. We assess then these programs that we have instituted to see if they have been effective, and then to communicate those through to the community. So we also want to make sure that our students especially are always safe. The biggest priority, I think, of any school before anything else can be done is if students do not feel safe in their environment, that's going to be a very difficult time for them to learn. So we have to make sure primarily that students feel safe in their buildings, and if they are feeling safe, they have the better opportunity to learn.
Thank you. Ms. DiGiovanni?
Thank you. It's the role of the Board of Education to do the business of the school district. It is not to run the day-to-day operations of the school. That's left to the administration. So what we do is we sit in various committees, and we, through purchasing, whether it be curriculum models, whether obviously, the budget incorporates every facet of, the facilities, the budget, salaries, that's the word I wanted for, which is the biggest nut, and that is our role, is to do the business of the school district, not the day-to-day operations, and to work with the administrators to ensure that we can get those business decisions passed and then keep the school functioning.
Thank you. Ms. Pinto?
The role of a board member and the board in general, first of all, to select and oversee the superintendent. Other work aside, making policy, doing the budget, planning, setting goals, and also a priority of the Board of Education is to be the bridge between the community and the district. Thank you.
Okay. I'll start with Mr. Rainho. Next question. Question that never had before in the years previous to this. What policies or support do you think the staff needs to leverage AI effectively and safely? What policies or support do you think the staff needs to leverage AI, artificial intelligence, effectively and safely?
To teach students? Or, like in what
To
context?
do their, I'm just reading, I guess
Okay.
take it, this is a new world we're living in.
Yeah, no, I know, and it's an interesting question. Yeah, so for me, putting my mind as an educator, AI is a very powerful thing, and it's what I would do is teach students. Again, I'm trying to do this program at Old Mill, an after-school program at Old Mill around this. We haven't been able to do it yet, but it's still in the works. Is to teach kids really AI, how to use it safely, but how can you actually use it, right? What are some of the limitations, right? You could look at ChatGPT, and it'll help you create flyers and write emails and paragraphs. There's other things like Napkin that you could do presentations, right? So it's kind of like really giving the children or the kids almost snippets of what are some of the things that you could do with AI, right? And then let the kids, whatever they're interested in, and then, channel their excitement down what they believe that they want to explore. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Pinto?
Okay, so policies regarding AI. I really don't know much about AI. My kids haven't taught me yet. But I will start first with the fact that we have nixed technology in the grade schools. So I think developing policies about AI is going to be kind of irrelevant, since I'm not sure there is an arena to teach them about AI in. If it were brought back and we were going to develop policies, I think they should be centered on how to use it safely, how to use it ethically, and just learning how to use it in general. But I think the priority should be policies based on safety and using it ethically. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Maliff?
Yes, the board does have an AI policy, and that AI policy does set out the parameters for which artificial intelligence can be used. It does mention the types of things that can be used, like ChatGPT is one of the things that can be used. It sets out policies as to how they can best be used, where they can be used in the classroom, but also very importantly, the policy also indicates how it should not be used. You know, AI is, again, something that has been growing dramatically. Whether we want to see it or not in schools, it's going to be in schools, and it is something that we're going to have to be dealing with for many years to come. We also have to be concerned with things like deep fakes, which could be very harmful to our students, which is why we have to, it's very important that we have consequences for improper use of AI. The fact of the matter is, though, it can be very beneficial for educational purposes, but there has to be some caveats involved as well.
Thank you. Ms. Bibby?
Yes, I think that AI is definitely the way that things are moving right now in our world, but I'm a firm believer we still need to use our own brains. I think it's important to learn how to use AI and use it properly, ethically, but also your schoolwork, like Mr. Maliff said, the policy says when you can and when you can't use it. I don't know the ins and outs of that policy, but I hope that the teachers have those guidelines handy at all times and they're able to use them appropriately. Thank you.
Thank you. And Mr. Giovanni?
Yes, thank you. The policy committee has already addressed some AI policies. It's sort of the beginning, and the board is well aware that this is going to be something that is only going to grow. So again, we've taken sort of the, I guess, baby steps really in how the school district will allow AI to be used, because we can't ignore it, it's going to happen. Also, the policy committee has recognized that we're going to have to probably revisit these policies on a somewhat annual basis, biannual, probably annually basis, so we are prepared to continue to address the ever-changing world of AI and how it will impact our students' education.
Okay, thank you. And we'll start with Mr. Giovanni. New question. Where do you stand on parents requesting certain books to be removed from the library or the curriculum?
I don't believe that any books should be banned. However, I think that every request at this level would have to be looked on a case-by-case basis. If it's a book that's not appropriate for the grade level, or the topic is not in line with the values of this community, I believe as a board we will absolutely discuss that with the administration and take the parents' concerns into consideration. But again, I think that to do this in an abstract is a very difficult thing. It would have to be, each individual instance would have to be looked at individually. But we certainly would give that parent concern due consideration.
Thank you. Ms. Bibby?
I agree with Ms. DiGiovanni. I don't think that any books should be banned. But again, like she said, if something is thought to be inappropriate for a certain age group, again, case-by-case basis, I really don't think I can, I'm just going to reiterate what Ms. DiGiovanni said. Thank you.
Ms. Pinto?
Again, I think this is a topic we're probably all going to agree along with. Same thing, case-by-case basis. Is it appropriate for the particular age group? Avid reader. My children read like crazy. I'd hate to see a world where they came up in starting with their school district where they were not being permitted to read and know different times and experiences. I think that's a very slippery slope if we start doing things like that. But again, it really would have to be supported by the community, supported by the parents in the district, and it'd have to be appropriate. Thank you.
Mr. Maliff?
I think it starts with our school librarians who are often making the decisions for what books to allow into the district, into the schools in the first place. Once they're in, based on their experiences, then I think it would be up to the parents, if they were upset with the presence of certain books in the libraries or in the schools, that they reach out to the administration of the schools. It would then come to the attention of the administrators or the superintendent, and perhaps would come to the Board of Education if that were to be the case. But in general, my agreement would be with the other members of the panel here, would be very much opposed to the idea of banning books unless there were tremendously egregious circumstances regarding the content of the book.
Mr. Reinho?
Yeah, I agree with the panel. I mean, there has to be a very crazy circumstances that you ban a book, and it has to be a case by case that you look into the circumstances and kind of make a decision from there. Thank you.
Okay. New question. We'll start with Mr. Maliff. With full-day pre-K being expanded in districts throughout the state, do you think Wall should add full-day pre-K to the district? And how would you recommend that we do that if it happens?
Well, certainly that is definitely going to be a priority in the future. But it is certainly something that is going to involve an expense. It is going to involve areas of the buildings, the existing buildings, to do this. The fact that other districts in the vicinity of Wall Township have existing pre-K 3 and 4 is certainly something that we are aware of, and it is definitely going to be one of my priorities to see that we explore opportunities to give more of our pre-K 3 and 4 students into our buildings. Certainly it's a big issue, and I think it's something that we will be looking at very closely.
Thank you. Ms. Pinto?
Can you repeat the question? I'm
Sure.
sorry. I was listening.
Yeah. With full-day pre-K being expanded in districts throughout the state, do you think Wall should add full-day pre-K to the district, and how would you recommend that you do that?
Okay. Well, as Mr. Maliff spoke to, obviously it's going to be increased. Of course, I think we should have it. I think it would certainly help the community. Parents, many households are 2 people working. So you get the child care that you can and start them in pre-K programs that you can, and you get what you can afford. But we have children coming into the district that have all different kinds of experience and maybe aren't on the same curve from those differentiated experiences. So I really think that having a pre-K program in the district would put our youngest students in even playing field. And we'd know for sure that they were being educated in the way that they should be. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Reinho?
Yeah, I mean, as a parent that had kids go to primary, I could definitely attest that we definitely need it. But again, not being a board member, I don't know all the facts, right, and all the expenses and all the nitty-gritty details that go into that type of decision to make an informed opinion. But obviously, it would benefit the community if we did have a full-time program. Thank you.
Okay. Ms. Bibby?
My son was in the primary program here in Wall. It's a fantastic program. The only thing I can say is it's too short. I do agree with my colleagues that we definitely do need a full-day program. I know that there are going to be hurdles to make that achievable, financials, space, but I think we can do it, and with the support of, I think we're going to have a lot of support with the community, especially building. I actually spoke in the board meeting about this a few months ago inquiring about this, and Ms. Kelly Bond reached out to me to let me know. Right now, the biggest issue is space. Where are we going to put them? The current primary school, if you haven't seen it, is very, 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 very small. They do 2 sessions a day. That means they got a whole group set of kids coming in twice a day, different set, twice a day. So yes, I definitely think it's something we need to look at and take advantage of the financial benefits that we could receive from the state by doing it as well.
Thank you. And last one, Ms. Giovanni.
It has been something that has been discussed, not in any great depth, but certainly it's on the board's mind, it's on the administration's mind. But again, the biggest issue is going to be, number one, space. We don't have the space. It's been mentioned by my colleagues. And number two, funding, paying for it. We run a very a tight budget, and to expand a program like that would be a very huge expense. So again, it's something that we are considering, are looking at, but at the moment, I don't believe that that's going to happen, but love to see if there's some additional state funding that comes about to achieve that goal. I think we would all agree that that would be a fantastic program.
Okay, we have time for 2 more questions before we're going to do closing remarks, and so I'm going to use these 2. It's interesting. We'll start with Ms. Bibby. How do you feel students' rights and feelings should be taken into consideration when developing policy and protocols related to the sharing of events that go on in the district?
Can you read it again, please?
Yes, I'd be happy to.
It's a long question.
How do you feel about students' rights and feelings should be taken into consideration? I think that's really
Yeah, that part I got.
Yeah, when developing policy and protocols relating to the district.
Obviously, it's not obvious. I don't think elementary or middle school, that their minds are developed enough to really have, it's a difficult question. I think the older children in the district, whether they've been in the system longer, in our district longer, they're more mature, they're more educated. I definitely think that they should just be listened to, and you never know who's going to have a good idea. So, thank you.
Okay, thank you. Ms. DiGiovanni.
I believe that the administration, when they are crafting policies or are suggesting policies to the board for consideration, do take into consideration the students' opinions, not to a major extent, but that is, I think, a factor that the administration does look at. Certainly not in an elementary, or maybe less, maybe a little bit more in the middle school, but certainly in the high school. However, it's, we're the adults. And so while we want to necessarily not upset the children, but we don't make policy decisions based on opinions of children, but they are taken into consideration. I believe that's the case.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Maliff.
Yes, we have, students certainly are welcome and have come to the board in the past. There were many circumstances when students have come. I'll give you an example. In most of recent years, we've had many members come and speak who were part of the NNDCC, who were a little bit concerned that the program, that they felt, that they believed that the program was potentially being eliminated. It was not. We listened very intently to the comments that were made by those people in that very fine organization, and we were able then to, in response to what they were saying and also some of the things that the administration was able to do, to really expand that program to the point where it is now continuing to grow. We also provide opportunities at every board meeting. We have student showcases where students come in and we let the community know about all of the good things that they have been doing. Okay, thanks.
Ms. Pinto.
I have to agree with what's been mentioned already. I mean, I think it depends on, first of all, two things. It depends on the policy, and it certainly depends on the age of the student. And obviously, I think that they could have more of a seat at a table the higher they rise through the grades. As far as that goes, if that is decided that, you know, it is a policy, or maybe more child-centered or student-centered, may affect them more. I mean, with technology these days, it's very easy to incorporate their opinions and their suggestions and their comments. Like I said, you could send out surveys on a computer. It's very simple to do if you were going to include them in that. But I think, especially the older they get, the more you should include them in things that are going to affect them. If it's not a policy that's student-centered or going to affect them directly, then no, I don't think they should have a seat at the table for that. Thank you.
Thank you. And Mr. Reno?
Yep. So when it comes to feelings, especially students' feelings, this is an interesting one. So I would say, I always think about it more of how is it going to impact the student versus how they're going to feel about it, right? And that's where, like, you have to kind of isolate those two. Is really like how it's going to impact the student and the community, with the decision that you're facing. But it's also really important to know how they're going to feel, right? Same thing as my mind always goes, how is the consumer going to be impacted, how they're going to feel, because then that's how you're going to communicate the change to the individuals or to the community, right, with all the facts, and make sure that they feel comfortable with the change and they understand why the change is occurring to make it more adoptable. Thank you.
Okay. Last question before closing statements, and we'll start with Ms. Pinto. What attributes and experience do you bring to the board?
Okay, so I'm a licensed social worker. Educationally, I also have CEs in teaching, K through 5, social studies, psychology, all levels. I'm also a licensed school social worker. So I think having those abilities, having that education background really helps me understand people in general, systems in general. Employment-wise, I've spent about 15 years working for the judiciary in community supervision and community service. So one of the primary things as an officer is making sure the people that I am supervising are doing what's right. So, and that's really important to me, is that people do the right thing. People operate with ethics. People just do what's right, and including your audience, including your stakeholders. As a community servant, public servant, I've met lots of people, and I've had to deal with lots of people in that line of work. So, thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Maliff, same question.
Yes. My experience has been, I was 39 years in public education as a teacher and an administrator. And in those experiences, tremendous amount of opportunities to talk to staff, to students, to teachers, to find out what their thoughts are, and to be able to operate a successful building. I was a assistant principal for 15 years in a middle school, and it was a tremendously rewarding experience. And in my 4 years now on the Board of Education, I've learned a tremendous amount, not only from my fellow board members, but from the administrators and the staff, who I greatly admire and feel that they are serving our school district very well.
Thank you. Mr. Reinho.
Yep. So for me, again, professionally, I've already mentioned this, right? I have 15 years of experience within corporate finance. So from a budgeting, expenses, modeling, and all that good stuff, I'm well equipped to do that. But also, the other skill sets is more around, again, how is the consumer going to be impacted by this, right? How is the kids, how is the community going to be impacted by these decisions, and how can we properly communicate so it's just adaptable, right? And we build that trust. The other thing, too, from a personal perspective, right, again, I have 3 boys at IEPs. Once they were diagnosed as neurodivergent, I dedicated an enormous amount of time with all the early intervention therapists, with their teachers. I build very, close bonds with these educators, because I really want to understand, how is my child being impacted on a daily basis, and how can I engage better to make sure that they have a better educational ability, right? So I'm extremely dedicated towards education. Thank you.
Thank you. And Ms. DiGiovanni.
Thank you. I've been a trial attorney for 25 years, maybe more. The first 12 years of my career was spent as a prosecutor, both on a state and federal level, and the last 14 years of my career have been as a civil trial attorney. So I bring those analytical skills to every decision that the board makes. I think it's important that we have a board from a variety of backgrounds. We have educators on our board. We have school maintenance supervisors on our board, and a variety of other, like I said, backgrounds. I don't think it should be only educators on the board. I think we need to be a cross-section of our community, and that's the kind of experience that I bring to the board. And I enjoy the discussions that I have with my fellow board members who do come from these varieties of backgrounds. So that's the experience that I'm going to bring and continue to bring to the board in every decision that we make.
Great. Thank you. And just as a reminder, closing statements. Oh, did I forget you? Sorry.
It's okay.
Ms. Bibby.
Yeah, thank you. My educational background, I have a bachelor's degree in K-12 phys ed with a teaching license, so my ability to relate to teachers and education and my passion for it is really what drives me to do what I'm doing today here. And my career background has been in finance and operations on the managerial side for corporations in the nonprofit and the public sector. Those skills on the finance side of things and operations are definitely something that I can bring to the board to assist with future issues. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, we covered, okay, thank you. Okay, closing statements, I'll just remind you, our timekeeper will be 90 seconds, and we randomly discussed this earlier, and so we're going to start with James Maliff.
Okay, thank you. I'm very fortunate to have been able to serve on the Board of Education for the schools and town, for which I have a great affection. The staff in this district has consistently impressed me with their professionalism and competence. They have demonstrated to me that they have great pride in their work. One of the things that to me indicates the pride is that we do not outsource many of our support staff. We have in-house custodial, food service, maintenance, buildings, ground, transportation. These employees work for Wall Township, not for a third party, and they have a lot of pride in working for Wall Township. I strongly believe that my fellow board members and I have worked positively, not to run the district, which we are not supposed to do, but rather to see that the district is run properly and efficiently. In all decisions, we must think foremost of the students. Are we meeting their needs for today and for the future? We're also aware that we are responsible to the community as a whole, the taxpayers who fund the schools. I hope to continue this role of service to our students and to the greater Wall Township community. And I thank you again for WTA and the League of Women Voters for this forum.
Thank you. Leah Bibby.
I first want to say thank you to the WTEA and the League of Women Voters for hosting this event. And thank you again to all of you for taking the time to be here tonight and for being engaged in the future of Wall Township schools. I, alongside my colleagues Angie Pinto and John Reno, are running for the Board of Education because we believe strong schools build strong communities. Our students deserve every opportunity to grow academically, socially, and emotionally in an environment that is safe, supportive, and inspiring. As a Wall resident and parent, I've seen how dedicated our teachers, staff, and families are. I want to build on that strength by promoting honesty, transparency, and collaboration across our district. That means open communication, responsible budgeting, and a genuine partnership between the board, administration, teachers, and families. I'm not running with a personal agenda. I'm running to listen, to lead thoughtfully, and to make decisions that always put students first. I believe Wall's best days are ahead of us. with teamwork, respect, and clear priorities, we can continue to make our schools a source of pride for our entire community. The three of us would be honored to earn your trust, your partnership, and your vote. Thank you.
Thank you. Angelique Pinto.
Sure. I want to thank everyone in the audience for your questions and the time investment you all made to come out in an effort to listen and learn, especially on a Monday. Thank you to the WTEA and the League of Women Voters for hosting this event and for providing myself and my running mates with the opportunity to introduce ourselves and to the community. And for those that already do know us and our families, I hope we were able to expand on that. In closing, I want to remind everyone that I am, along with Leah and John, absolutely committed to working toward being members of a BOE that exercises honesty, transparency, and collaboration with the community regarding future decisions and actions. We value and prioritize what is in the best interest of our kids, teachers and staff, families, and the community as a whole. And to truly accomplish this, we must all work together, putting personal and private interests and agendas to the side. I truly hope you will consider voting column 3 for Bibby, Pinto, and Rainho, and that we will get the opportunity to serve you, all of you, as members of this community, if elected on November 4th. Have a great night and safe travels.
Thank you. Jonathan Rainho.
Yep. Thank you all for your time and your questions. If elected, I will commit to protecting student well-being, preserving the careers of our beloved teachers, and thriving to rebuild the trust of the trust between families and our educators and our administrators. We see leadership as more than titles. It's about making decisions that put kids first, while also lifting up the entire school community. You entrust us with this responsibility, and I do not take it lightly. I also want to make it clear, I am not affiliated with any political party, and I have zero interest in pursuing a career after I serve as a board member. In November, when you walk into the voting booths, we hope you look behind the party lines and focus on the priorities, the track record, and the values of who you're electing. For a team that stands for honesty, transparency, and collaboration, please consider voting for Rainho, Pinto, and Bibby in column 3. Let's make Wall Schools a better place where every child, teacher, and family thrive. Thank you.
Thank you. And Kathleen Diagiovanni.
Thank you. I'd like to thank everyone for your questions. They were thoughtful and really encompassing pretty much everything that we do here and a Board of Education. I just want to say that the past 3 years being on this board has been very rewarding. I have enjoyed the hard work that goes into this volunteer position. Like I said, the long nights on F&F and working on the budget, working on the referendum. And I just want to compliment my fellow board members for their respect, their collaboration. We don't always have the same viewpoint, but we listen to each other and often change our minds on different issues. So I just wanted to thank all of them. I look forward to working with the group going forward. I didn't get to finish some of my opening statement remarks in regards to the superintendent search. We could not wait until there is a new board to start this process. This was going to take a very long time. If we did not start by at least hiring a search firm, we would run the risk of not having a superintendent in time to take over when Dr. Handerham retires on July 1st. The search firm that we did hire, all they're doing is getting out the notice that we're looking, collecting resumes, screening them, and then the board will be conducting the interviews in January. We just ask everyone to remember to vote either now or by November 4th. Thank you.
Thank you. And before we close, and you can applaud in a few minutes, I want to thank the candidates, certainly. You all came out, participated in this informative forum, and you want to serve your community, and that is commendable. I want to thank so much our sponsors, the Wall Township Education Association. It's been a pleasure working with you, and certainly thank the audience that is here tonight, who ask questions and want to be informed voters, and certainly those of you who are watching, hopefully, on this recording. Thanks to my screeners back there who helped make these questions legible, our timer, and to let you know that the forum, as you know, has been recorded and it will be posted in the morning on lwvmonmouth.org and on our league online voter guide, which is voteforone.org. And a reminder too, as I said earlier, the recording can only be shared in its entirety, and use of any excerpt is not permitted. And before I close, I just want to give you a few words about voting, as our candidates are concerned with. There are 3 ways for registered voters to vote. Vote by mail, early voting, and election day. If you vote by mail, you should have received your ballot already. The deadline to apply for a mail-in ballot is tomorrow. So if you suddenly realize you have to do that, I have registration. You can get the application here and get it in tomorrow. You cast that ballot by mailing it, by placing it in a drop box, or by delivering it to the Board of Elections. In-person early voting has started. Maybe some of you have already voted and made your decisions already. I have. But cast your ballot on a voting machine at an early voting site in the county during this 9-day period, which started last Saturday and will run until Sunday, November 2nd. Choose a time that's convenient to you. And of course, vote in person on Election Day, which is Tuesday, November 4th. Cast your ballot using a voting machine at your assigned local polling site. Polls will be open on Election Day from 6 a.m. to 8 p.m. And for any other information you need on a voting question, you can visit vote.nj.vote. It's a very good source of information. And lastly, voting is your voice. Make sure to use it. And again, thank you and good night. Safe travels home.